Hey guys, so I'm here with another start to finish wig installation. However, this is going to be a detailed step-by-step on how to get the ultimate melt. Guys, so the first thing for the ultimate melt, you want to get a flat foundation. So you want to do some small braids, but for me, however, based off their hair texture and how short or long their hair is, that's gonna determine how small my braids are. So for her hair is very fine, it's not too long. So for me, the braids can be a little bit bigger than usual. But however, the braids on the side will be the smallest braids for me in every installation. So the two side braids around her ear is going to be the smallest braids, and that is because I want it to be able to anchor her wig. So today we're using MyFirstWigs. They sent a wig stand, a wig cap, and some goodies, you know, clips, combs, all that good stuff. Of course, the wig and the wig bag. But today I do have a treat for you guys. They did send over the MyFirstWig lace glue. So today we're going to be using that to install this wig. So we'll see how that goes. And of course, a little MyFirstWig VIP with some information on how to get some percentage off. So here we have the wig, guys, and this is a frontal bob. Absolutely wanted to work with this so badly, and of course their wig, their lace is HD. The wig is pre-plucked and pre-bleached with all the clips, extra band for to hold the tightness if you want to wear it without a full glue down. So yeah, here let's get back into the video. And as I said before, you need a flat foundation. So here I am just making sure that her flat foundation is flat. What I do want to insert is that for the first braid, I always go across her nape. So the back of her head, I always go across that with the first braid. And of course you have to moisturize. I'm using my Jamaican black castor oil to moisturize her scalp to make sure that when that cap is on, her head is not on fire and itching and, you know, doing what it do. So yeah, so now you want to go ahead and spray some Got to Be Glued spray on her hairline and slick it back while you're blow drying. So you want all her little baby hairs or whatever she has to be slicked back. So the next step is finding a wig cap that best matches her complexion. So when you do have a wig cap like that, you want to place it over your client's head and you want to stretch it as much as possible. This is going to thin the lace out, and those eye holes that I'm cutting out is just for comfort because it's super annoying to have that lace over your eye. You can't blink, you can't do anything. So yeah, that's a comfort for your client. Now the ear part is not just for comfort, it's literally because you're gonna need to glue down the tab near her hairline. So yeah, so once you have that cap maxed out and stretched and you put your holes in, you want to go along her hairline. And if they're lacking some hairline, you do want to kind of make some extra hairline for them by bringing the Got to Be glue spray a little bit inwards on their forehead. So yeah, once you've done that and went across their hairline with the Got to Be spray, you want to grab your blow dryer and blow on cool until you feel like it is dry. During this process, I don't always blow dry the whole time because I take this time while it's drying to sew down her cap, and that's where I use the two smallest braids on the side near her ear, and I do like a over looping and to secure the cap on her head. This step is very important to me because once I go around cutting the excess lace off, I do not want the lace to come apart around her hairline or her neckline. So this part is important to have a nice stitch going along the back of her head. So a lot of times we make the mistake of thinking that the tab near the ear is secure when it is not. So sometimes you have to go back in and spray the got-to-be spray and use a comb. I like to use the end of a rat tail to hold down the tab and blow dry it to make sure that it is secure. Please be careful when cutting around the eyes, guys, and the ears. You do not want to poke your client in the eye with your scissors, so make sure you're extra careful when doing that. So as you can see, as I'm cutting around her nape, the cap is well secured. It's not going anywhere. It's not going to lift off her head while she is wearing the wig. So yeah, that's why I do that type of stitching, so that I can make sure the tab or the wig cap does not come off or is very secure. So once you are cutting along her hairline, you do want to make sure that you are pulling back sometimes, and it does hurt a little bit, but sometimes when you spray the got-to-be sprayed, it does kind of go a little bit further than you need it to go. But you don't want to just cut along where the got-to-be sprayed went. You kind of want to still form a natural hairline. So you have to pull it up, and it does hurt. So just say, I'm sorry, my bad, you know, the whole shebang. To let them know, like, you know, you're just trying to make the best for them and to make it as melted and as beautiful as possible. So as I'm cutting along the lace, I'm getting as close as possible to her skin because we don't want any lifting from the lace. So you do need a nice sharp scissors that cuts cap well. You know, if it's a hair cutting scissors, you might not want to use that. You might want to use something that is good at cutting cloth. So this one is going to cut it as best as possible and as close to the skin as possible. So now that I've done that, this is when I want to go in, or you can go in even before this, to basically match, put the foundation. I like to use Ruby Kisses, and I match their skin prior to doing the cap. So once I started, I could see that, okay, that color was way too light. So now I'm going to dip into the darker color to basically blend in with her skin. And this is going to help tremendously when it comes to melting the lace to her head. So yeah, you do need to have her cap be as close to her natural skin complexion as possible, so that when you do put the wig on, they are seeing a scalp-like illusion rather than a white cast or her black hair. So yeah, when it comes to lace, guys, lace is very important, and I love working with HD lace because you don't necessarily have to even color the lace itself. If you're working with translucent or medium brown or whatever lace, you do have to go in on the lace with the foundation. But for HD lace or Swiss lace, you do not have to do it, so I don't do it. It just kind of looks natural regardless. So here I am going in with the first layer of the MyFirstWig lace glue, and it is a little bit looser than the natural glue that bowl hold or Ghost Bond or whatever it is, a bit more watery. But once I did place the wig on, it did have a good melt to it. However, working with it was a little bit difficult. Okay, so when you start to spread the glue along their hairline, you do want some glue on the wig cap and some glue on the skin. About a 1/4 inch on the skin and a 1/4 inch on the cap itself. So that's what I do, and then I wait for it to turn clear, and then I add the other layer. So typically, if I know my client is going to be wearing this lace front for a while, I do want to do 3 to 4 layers of glue, and each turn I wait for it to turn clear before applying the next. And then when it's time to put the wig on, I wait for it all to be completely clear, not dry, but just clear. Once it's clear, you know that it's time to place the wig on. And also, just a friendly reminder, make it as thin as possible. Each layer as thin as possible. Spread it out. So what you want to do next is, if that wig has a middle part, you do want to make sure you get in front of your client and line that middle part up with the tip of their nose, so that you do have a straight wig and a straight part. Do not be afraid to employ your clients. Have them hold that wig down. A little help goes a long way. So do ask them to hold the side of the wig down as you're installing it. So what I'm doing now is I'm taking the comb and I'm basically brushing the wig into the glue so that it is sticking to the glue. It helps it a little bit. And also, I just want to make sure that I do have all the hairline of the wig along the glue line. So what I use here is a elastic band. You can get it on Amazon or wherever in sewing departments or wherever. But I place this along the glue line and wig line, and this is going to help the melting process. This is where the melting begins, guys. Once you place this band across that glue line, this is helping it to melt the lace into the glue. So once I do have that cap on, this is normally where I begin to style. However, this is a bob, so it's a quick styling. So what I want to do now is just basically take it off and go along her hairline and cut it away. It's been on her head probably about 5 minutes, so that helps a little bit. But you know, we're gonna put the band back on again a couple more times just to make sure it is fully melted. So what I'm doing right now is I'm cutting along her hairline, and what I'm doing is using a scissors. And when you use a scissor, you do kind of want to not go in a straight line. However, I'm following the guidance of the glue, so whatever is stuck to her head, I just kind of follow that as a line, if you get what I'm saying. So it's not about going straight or zigzag. It's really about following the hairline that is the glue is sticking to. So that's what I'm cutting off. I'm cutting off the excess that is not stuck to the glue. Sometimes it is best to use a eyebrow razor for this part, because it does give it more an illusion of scalp because of how it cuts. It just cuts way better, way cleaner than a scissors. So do practice using that, but it's also easy to cut your client when you're using an eyebrow razor to do it. So this part is very important, guys. This is where you're cutting the excess lace by her ear. And as you can tell, the wig is a little bit too large for my client, and tab that is supposed to go behind her ears is covering her ears. So later on in the video, I'm going to show you how to fix that. And as you can see, her hair already looks melted in. This is MyFirstWig, and they do send you like a HD Swiss lace. So it's super easy to work with. There's not much work you have to do with this kind of wig. As the name states, it's called MyFirstWig, which makes it perfect when you're a beginner and you just need a wig that's already fully done and that you don't have to do much with. So here I am. I'm going to have to cut into the wig because her head is so tiny, which is not a natural size for most human beings. But her head is a little bit smaller than usual. So what I like to do is I like to cut into the wig. And to my surprise, the once I cut into the wig does not start unraveling. Those wefts stay in place. They don't unravel from the cap once I cut into them, which was surprising for me because I don't like cutting into the wig, but if I have to, I have to. You know, you have to make it look good for your client. So yes, because her head is a little bit smaller, I have to cut along her hairline so that it is comfortable for her to wear. So be careful if you have to do that part, be careful when you do that part, because you don't want to cut a lot of the hair off. So now I'm gonna go in and pull out some excess hair for a natural baby hairline. So with her and this wig being so natural anyways, you don't want too much baby hair. So I typically don't pull out that much when I have a hairline that is already looks natural. So I feel like excess baby hair is really just to hide when the lace is not natural looking. So yeah, but by the ears, because I did not pluck any extra out and because I cut so much off by the ears, I do want to pull enough out to cover what might be revealing of the lace. So that is where I might pull out some extra baby hairs, but not a ridiculous amount, just enough to cover the lace. And here I am employing her again. I need her to hold those down. This is gonna kind of straighten the hair some. And when I spray the got to be spray again around it, that's gonna help the lace melt in a little bit more once I put the rubber band around it again. So yeah, that's gonna pull the baby hair forward as well as straighten it to her hairline, and it's gonna make for easier when I go to lay them down. So this is where I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to sew the wig down on her head, but first get rid of that little extra tab right there. And as you can see, the wig is way bigger than her head, so I have to cut some of the wig off. Disclaimer, you do not have to do this. This is definitely not a usual situation, but because her head is so much smaller than the wig and she wants it to be sewed down and secure because she will be wearing it for a while, she's not going to be taking it off and putting it back on. So I am going to cut some of the wig off. So this is what I'm doing here, guys. I'm cutting the excess off so that I'm able to sew it down around her hairline. I don't know why I kept that band, but it came in handy somehow. I'm able to sew along it as well for a little extra help. But yeah, go in, I cut it off. Like I said, it's not a usual case to be cutting up the wig like this, but nonetheless, nothing changed about the wig. Like once it is fully cut down, the bob looks amazing. It doesn't look too long, doesn't look too short. It's still enough hair. It didn't get rid of so much hair that it looks like nothing's there. And as a precaution, I did sew through the weft on the sides just in case it decided it wanted to come apart. So I just went ahead and whenever I looped around, I went through the weft so that it holds it down, so that, you know, just in case it decided it wanted to come apart, it wouldn't. So that sewing through it is going to help keep it in place. So once you have taken that band off for the second time, this is when you want to unravel those little braids and start to cut your baby hair. From experience, the shorter the baby hair, the more natural it looks. So the shorter you cut them, the more natural it looks. Unless you're trying to hide something or hide the lace or whatever, you might want to cut them a little bit longer. However, shorter baby hairs, the more natural your wig is going to look. So if you decide to use mousse like I am to lay your baby hair, you do want to work very quickly because the mousse does lift the lace. Even though you've done all that work to get the lace to melt down, once you put the mousse on there, it is going to start to lift. However, I find this method the best when it comes to making sure your baby hair lays permanently, and even when it does come up, it still has that form to it. So when you put the mousse on, work quickly, put some strips over it, multiple strips until it dries. This is going to lay the lace back down into place. Even though it just lifted a little bit, it's going to lay it back down, and once that strip comes off, everything will be super melted and ready to go. So now that I have the strip on, this is where I want to start styling the wig, and I'm just putting a little bit more curls back into it, straightening it out, and just making it look good. So here I am using a wax stick by Hair, and this is going to lay all the flyaways down for a more sleek and presentable look. So this is the final result. As you can see, it does look melted, and that is due to the wig itself, the lace itself, and the application itself. So if you follow these directions, you will be able to melt your lace just like this.